see. I miss you guys so much, but I am going to do a special video today. This is really for my parents of students with special needs that could be in a wheelchair. So my son is going to be in a chair today, and I'm really going to show you how to do some hand over hand, because I think you'll see that a lot in my description, so I want you to be able to know how to do the hand over hand. So the first thing I wanted to talk about are the materials we're going to use today. I tried to pick items that I thought everybody has in their house. So the first one, balloons. Make sure your child is not allergic to the latex or get latex-free balloons. So we're going to use a balloon today, something that I feel like everybody has around their house. The next item we have are just solo cups. We're using this as a target. The other nice thing is that when these fall, they kind of crash and make some noise, so that's why I picked solo cups. Also because we can throw these away when we're done with them. You can keep using them until they get messed up. One thing I want to work on is catching. So any kind of ball, I picked this ball because I like that it's fuzzy and then you could feel it. So that when I drop the ball, the student can kind of feel it and it's got a different texture. But you can use any ball that you think your child can catch. The next item I would like to work on is with transferring from one hand to the next. So a lot of times in class I will use a stick like this. Many of you may not have a stick at home to use, so you have a water bottle that you can transfer from one hand to the next. I even grabbed like a flashlight that I thought you could transfer from one. So anything about this size that you could actually move from one hand to the other. So that's a transfer. The last item I picked is just a ball so we can work on grip. So we work on holding it and letting it go. Again, holding that item and letting it go. So let's get started. So today, the last thing is any kind of racket. I found these rackets, especially in the summertime, they sell a lot of oversized rackets that are super light. So this is a really nice size. I got this one at Meijer, but Target, Meijer, all those places sell these and they're really lightweight, which I like because we're going to do a hand over hand with racket. So the first thing I wanted to work on with your child, you want to stretch them out. So you want to be stretching them in and out, working on just letting that motion, so just relax your arm, so let it moving in and out. And then you're going to do the other side, taking that arm, letting it go in and pressing it out. A lot of times my students get really, really tense, so I'm going to practice going up over your head and back down. Just be limp, just relax. I'm going to go up over your head and back down, up over your head and back down. Up over your head and back down, up over your head and back down. So really work on that range of motion. So it may be that you're out here and pulling in. It may be above the head. It may be down here pulling in. So you really want to work all those range of motions with the arms. So first you want to stretch. Second thing we're going to practice is just the mobility of moving an item up and around. So I typically have a balloon. Now a lot of my students don't have any ability to hold on to an item. So when I have it, I'm going to put my hands over their hands and typically stand behind them. And I'm going to put it over their head and in front. Over their head and in front. And notice I'm doing a lot of the work, but this is something that we are working on some ball manipulation, okay? So once I've done it a couple times over the head, I will take a break, and then we will work from side to side, okay? So moving the ball from side to side. And on this one, I may move to the front. Again, my hands are still on their hands. That's hand over hand, working on that mobility, moving it from side to side and side to side, okay? The next one, Jackson, I'm going to have you, actually we'll stay right there, we're going to do, next is going to be racket. Again, a lot of my students don't have the mobility to be able to hold a racket, so you're going to do a hand over hand with them, and we're going to hit the balloon in the air, okay? The nice thing about a balloon is it falls really, really slow, and that gives us the ability to move it. Some of my students can see, some of my students have lost their ability to see, so a lot of this is putting different balls and manipulation in their hand, okay? So if you can't, you could do one hand or two, and you're going to put the ball, the racket in their hand, and then you are going to move it for them moving it up and down. So a lot of it is I'm moving it, but make sure it's nice and soft in their hand. And it may be that you hit it one time, and you put it again, and you hit it again. And you let them hit it. And then we're going to try with the other hand. Again, remember, you have no mobility. That I'm doing all the work for you, okay? So I'm going to place it in the other hand. Again, hand over hand, allowing to hit it. Again, hit. Just make sure you're aware of how you're holding the hand, that it's nice and soft, and that it's not going to hurt the student as you're holding the hand, okay? So that is racket. The next thing we're going to work on is catching. So oftentimes, I will grab a ball like this so they can feel it. They may not be able to see it, but as I drop it into this area, we're going to let them feel the ball as it's dropped. So release your hands a little bit, and then as I let it drop, well, oftentimes the student can feel it as we drop it. So I'm going to let it drop. Again, this is a nice soft ball, so it's not going to hurt as I drop. And you can let them feel and hold it. Now, if a student has a little bit more mobility, I can throw it to them. I want to see them just squeeze it, okay? So as I throw it to you, squeeze, good. Ready, throw it to you, squeeze, excellent. So again, we're working on catching. You don't have to use this type of ball. You could use a balloon or anything else that you could work on catching, okay? The next thing we're going to work on is transferring from one hand to the next, okay? Typically it works a little bit better if we're up to a desk, but I'm going to try it just moving it from one hand to the next. So I'm going to grab an item that probably everybody has at home, maybe a flashlight. So if I'm working on, you're going to hold it with this hand. We're going to take it from this hand and move it to this hand. Again, you can't really grab it. I'm grabbing it with hand over hand, moving it from one hand to the next, okay? Trying to work on that grip and letting them feel that item is a great way to go from hand to hand transfer, okay? We're going to try a different item now. Another one that I think you will all have at home, and you can kind of hear it. Oftentimes my students can hear really well, and they use that sense. So having a different item and hearing that crunching sound may be something that they like. It may be easier. It's a little bit bigger of an item that they can feel going from hand to hand. All right, excellent job. All right, one of the last things we're going to work on is a drop, okay? So letting that student feel that item and then dropping it, okay? So what I will do is, a lot of my students don't have much grip, so I will help them get that grip, and then they are going to drop it. Go ahead and drop. Good. I'm going to let them feel that item, get that grip on it, help them with that grip, and then let them drop. Whoop. Again, we're going to let them hold on to that item and drop. Good. Let's try it with the other hand. Let them really feel that item, get that grip, let go. Good. Let them feel that item and let go. So we did grip with both sides. That's another great way to work on grip. All right. The last and final thing we're going to work on is bowling. So if you can pan over and see, I set up the cups in a 3-2-1. There's our target. If you have bowling pins at home, excellent, set those up. A lot of times my students love to hear the crash, so it's the reaction. They may not see it happen, but they can hear it happen. So what I grabbed, I don't know if I talked about this at the beginning because I don't think I did, but everybody typically has some type of lid at home. So what we need to create is a ramp, all right? So if the student is in a chair, a lot of times there's no way to get a ramp. And if they're in a bigger chair, sometimes it can sit. You can tape it to something so that it stays in place. Today we're just going to set it on the knees. So we've created that ramp area. Now I'm going to take a ball. You can use any kind of ball, maybe a little bit bigger than this one. I want you to put it in both their hands in front of them, and we're going to have them try to push. So what we want to do is with hand over hand, we're going to push the ball. Now, I would love to see every student be able to push, but oftentimes it's hard to get the student to push it. So usually you'll place it here, put both hands on the ball, and and then you will try to push with both hands forward and get that reaction of it hitting those pins. So again, having the ball placed here, both hands on the ball, then you're going to ask the student to kind of push it. Very good. Again, if they hear that what they're doing is getting a reaction, which you'll hear the cups fall, then they know that what they're doing is getting a reaction, okay? So again, we're going to place them here. Let me get your hands. And you're going to use both hands to push. Now, again, you're getting that reaction, which is a great thing. So that is pretty much everything that I've covered. I'm hoping I've given you a variety of ideas. Lots of resources that you can use at home. So if you have any questions, please contact me directly. We all did an excellent job. Please thank my son Jackson. He did a fabulous job. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. I miss you guys. Bye.